Street. Number of public amusement events scheduled. Show, the REO Speedwagon for Thursday, November 15th, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And Mill City Management presents the promoter. There's a show for Cake Boss, Friday, November 23rd, 7:30 p.m. It's Mill City Management and Mills Entertainment promoter. A show, Sisters Christmas Catechism, Thursday, December 6th, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's Mill City Management and Mills Entertainment promoter. A concert, Dark Star Orchestra, for Saturday, December 8th, 8 p.m. Mill City Management and B.B. King Entertainment promoter. Concert, Martina McBride, for Saturday, December 15th, from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's Mill City Management and Elite Entertainment promoter. And the concert, there'll be two shows, Shrek, which is for Thursday, December 27th. There's a matinee show for 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., Mill City Management promoter, and also the evening show will begin at 7:30 p.m., Mill City Management promoter.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Katrina Garavanian, Lowell Auditorium.
Okay, great. And you're representing Mill City Management tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All these shows seem pretty straightforward. If you guys have any questions, if not, I'll take a motion.
A motion to approve the applications.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Chairman, with respect to the next item, this is to allow public comment as it was requested or required by the License Commission at our last regular meeting, which was October 18th, and this pertains to special one-day license applications for all alcoholic beverages having been approved at the October 18th meeting and issued October the 19th. Those applications filed by Natalia Mello of the Holy Ghost Society for events on Saturday, October 20th, 9 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for the Brazilian Night at the Holy Ghost Park, 65 Village Street. Also Natalia Mello of the Holy Ghost Society for Saturday, October 27th, from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for the St. George Gala, also at Holy Ghost Park. And Natalia filed application for Friday, November 2nd, 6 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for the New England Stars hockey team, a fundraiser, also at the Holy Ghost Park.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Natalia Mello, the Secretary for the Holy Ghost Society.
Natalia, do we have any issues with these events?
No,
Everything was smooth sailing?
everything was nice.
All right. Because it's supposed to be opened up for public comment, if there's anyone that wants to speak in favor of these license, in favor, seeing none, that portion of the hearing is closed. Anyone to speak in opposition, seeing none, that portion of the hearing is closed. Someone could make a motion to ratify, or I'll make a motion to ratify the licenses issued the 27th and 2nd.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. You can stay right there.
Commission will now take up applications also for events at the Holy Ghost Park for all alcoholic beverages. Natalia Mello for Saturday, November 10th, from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for the Portuguese Night Gala at the Holy Ghost Park. Natalia has filed application for Saturday, November 24th, from 9 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for the Brazilian Night at the Holy Ghost Park. And also, Natalia has filed application for a fundraiser on Saturday, November 17th, from 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. for a cancer patient. Natalia Mello of the Holy Ghost Society has filed application for a wedding reception for Saturday, December 1st, 5 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Natalia has also applied for a license for all alcoholic beverages for the Back Central Street Kids fundraiser for Friday, December 7th, 6 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. And there is an application for the Dwayne birthday party for Saturday, December 8th, from 6 p.m. to 1:30. And last, Natalia has filed application for event at the Holy Ghost Society for the Holy Ghost New Year's Eve, which is scheduled for Tuesday, December 31st, from 5 p.m. to the New Year, 2 a.m.
Introduce yourself again for the record.
Natalia Mello, Secretary for the Holy Ghost Society.
Okay, Natalia, as
Hi.
we spoke last time, remember these licenses, if they're granted, are in your name You're the one that controls the license. And just remember that if there's any issues, they're coming after you,
I-
okay?
I understand that.
They're all 1:30, except for the New Year's Eve is 2 a.m. Just make sure everything's cleared out by that time, okay?
Make sure. I think that should be it for the year, hopefully.
Questions, comments? Make a motion. Someone can make it.
A motion to approve the licenses.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. So moved. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Problem.
Appreciate it.
Commission will now take up the application for a malt beverage and wine only license. Corey Belanger of Major's Pub is hosting a event at the Athenian Corner parking lot at the corner of Shattuck and Market Streets for Thanksgiving Eve, which is Wednesday, November 21st, from 8 p.m. to 12:30 a.m.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Corey, is this the first time you're going to have the Thanksgiving, night before Thanksgiving at this location?
Yes, it's the second event there total, Mr. Chairman, but first Thanksgiving Eve there, yes.
And how long have you been running the Thanksgiving event?
Since I opened the door, we had this event, this is the 12th year now, it's been running on Jackson Street, and so Teddy Panos of the Athenian was kind enough to let us work an arrangement, we're able to use this parking lot.
Okay. And the only issue that I ever remember was that when someone was breaking down the stage, they may have had the radio turned on and someone.
Yeah, that was
And there was a
the-
little complaint by one of the residents.
There
In
was a
this
breakdown.
location, there's more residents, so just make sure when they're breaking down that stage, or whatever, I don't know if you.
The tents, yes.
But when they're breaking it down, just make sure they keep the radio down.
We can do that, Mr. Chairman, most certainly.
Questions?
I guess we've got another issue coming up a little later on in tonight's meeting. The issue that we're going to be addressing soon, was that on one of your outside parking
No,
lots?
Commissioner, that's a good question. No, that was on a random Thursday evening at about 6:30 at night with about 8 people in the establishment, far different from what we do normally. I mean, I must have pulled in the 12 years, probably nearly 100 outdoor events without a glitch, knock on wood. And we strive to do our job, but yes, there is coming up on the agenda, another incident, yes, but no, it was nothing to do with any outdoor party or anything like that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye, so moved.
Commission will now take up the application for malt beverage and wine only, special one-day license by Keelan Savani of the United Teen Equality Center for Tuesday, November 13th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is UTEC's grand opening at 34 Hurd Street.
Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Sure. Keelan Sabini, Operations Manager of UTEC.
Keelan, have you ever had a license with us before?
I have not.
Okay. First thing is the license is in your name, not in UTEC's name. Okay. Secondly, if you believe anyone's had too much to drink, anything, you're the one that takes control. Okay.
Absolutely.
Third, make sure you have the Lowell Police Department's telephone number programmed in on your cell phone or whatever phone you have, and call the Lowell Police directly. Don't call 911. Call the local number for the Lowell Police. Other than that, you're opening a beautiful facility, so I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
I do. I won't be voting in favor of your license application tonight, and nothing personal, and I have nothing, I think you've got a beautiful facility over there. I just think it's inconsistent to have a liquor license for a place that is a gathering spot for teens. That being said.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Pass 2-1. Good luck.
Thank you.
Commission will now take up the matter of a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment, an application filed by Chris Samaras for the City of Lowell, the parade, choral concert, public address, and musicians with portable sound systems. for the 2012 City of Lights Parade and Holiday Art Stroll. This is for Saturday, November 24th, 2012, from 12 noon to 8:30 p.m. This will be, location will be at the Arcan Drive stage in front of City Hall. There will also be other locations, the Mark Plaza on Shattuck Street, St. Anne's Churchyard on Merrimack Street, and downtown sidewalks of Merrimack, Middle, Market, and Central Streets.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Chris Samara, City of Lowell.
Chris, how many years have you done this?
It's my fifth.
5th year? Okay. We've had no issues. It's a
None.
good family night,
Yes, it is.
good night for the city of Lowell.
Yes.
Well, I'll motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good weather. Got that, yeah. It's the same thing.
Commission will now take up a matter to do with an application by the Knickerbocker Athletics Association, the all-alcoholic beverage club licensee for premises at 36 Chamberlain Street, for a change of manager of record from the manager James R. Cameron to Frederick J. Hamill of Derry, New Hampshire.
Introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Frederick J. Hamill. I'm the oncoming president of the Knickerbocker Club, starting January 1st.
And you're going to be the manager of the hall?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any experience in that?
I've been vice president for nine years there. I've been a bartender there for 34 years. We do the safe serve. We have done that for the last 9 years. We renew it every 3. We've done tips before that. So every bartender in the place actually has to be certified to work there.
Okay. How many members do you have at the Knickerbocker Club?
Members?
Yes.
Well, active members, we have 140. And then, of course, we have our retired people, and there's another 130 of them. So altogether, almost 300.
Okay. And what type of check-in system do you have at the Knickerbocker Club? There's a book that's kept, or the swipe card, or?
It's well, all guests of members are written in our logbook. We do not have a swipe card right now that we have in the past, but the last 10 years or so, I guess we've been just writing in the names as they come in. The member signs them in.
Okay. All right. And you said you've been a bartender for 34 years?
Yes, yeah, my math's correct.
Had any issues with getting caught in any compliance checks or anything?
I think about 24 years ago, there was one altercation, there was minor being served. That was the only thing in the whole time I've been there, last 34 years.
Captain Webb, anything on the Knickerbocker Club?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware of any problems.
Okay, great. How many hours a week are you planning to be on premises?
I'll be there about 20 hours a week. Okay. 3 days in the morning, I'll go in to do the book work, and then I'll be there a few nights. I still work there.
Okay. All right, just because, you're the manager, the buck stops with you, so if you're only on the premises for 20 hours, you're still going to be available.
Yes.
If you're down vacationing in Florida and something happens, it's on you.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
When you're not there, is there someone that'll be managing the premises?
We have I guess we call it our manager's logbook.
Okay.
We started this because of the fire issue, but now we have every bartender that comes in, signs in, they're the manager. They're in charge.
They're responsible?
We do that twice a day for each shift, and of course, they all have my number. My number's on the board, and Jimmy Cameron's, who is the president now. So that's kind of how we do that. They're in charge when they're behind the bar, and that's on the bar side. We have functions going on at the same time. It's the members' bar that's who's in charge.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I have no comments.
I just had a quick question. I noticed on the application it said it was going to be effective January 1st, or is that just the presidency is effective
That's the
January?
presidency.
Okay. All right, so you, if we vote to approve this, it'll have to be reviewed by the ABCC, so the manager currently in place will be the manager until the ABCC gives it the okay.
Yes.
Right? With that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Good luck.
Thank you.
On number 7, for the sake of a public hearing was scheduled for, as of October 18th at our last regular meeting. The License Commission had an application by a corporation known as Boomy Liquors, Inc. And this was for a transfer of an all-alcoholic beverage packaged goods store license from the Ornelas Enterprises, Inc., which is the licensee of record for a retail all-alcoholic package store at 1012 Gorham Street. Mr. Chairman, on the eve of the date in which the legal notice was scheduled to be published, and that would have been on for Friday, October the 26th, I received a telephone call in the office from an attorney, Pete Nicosia, explaining to me that the matter of the transfer, since he was representing the buyer, being in this instance the Boomy Liquors, requesting that the application be withdrawn, not be advertised in the local newspaper for public hearing. And apparently, subsequent to that telephone conversation, the following day, I received an email from Attorney Nicosia in which stating in no uncertain terms, the deal is dead. And apparently, whatever financial transaction was anticipated for the purchase, the buyer had chosen not to follow through on the purchase and sale agreement, or a tentative purchase and sale agreement. And based on the fact that the attorney had requested that the legal be not published, I was able to contact the Lowell Sun newspaper, and they were kind enough to make sure that that legal, though it was scheduled for publication, would not appear in the Friday, October 26th paper. I don't know whether there would be anybody here anticipating such an application for a public hearing, but for purposes of state law, it is required that a legal notice be published in the local newspaper not less than 10 days before a public hearing on a transfer of a liquor license, and that requirement by state law has not been met, purposely, of course.
Okay, so we'll just take it off the agenda. It's my understanding that there's a subsequent purchaser to the property that should be filing an application with us shortly, so we can remove that from the, move on to the next item.
And now, number 8, with respect to an application that had been filed last and was addressed by the License Commission on September 27th, the applicant being KMH Automotive Corp., Keith Harley, President, doing business as KMH Motors Corp. for premises at 45 Meadowcroft Street, Unit Number 3. Mr. Harley, he and I have not been not in communication since we last spoke just prior to our last meeting, which was October 18th. In my conversation with Mr. Harley, I let it be known to him he was more than welcome to file additional paperwork as was required of him by the License Commission on outdoor area. And it's almost a month now, and Mr. Harley has not followed through and submitted anything, so I would just
make a motion to dismiss his application.
yeah, that's it.
Get a second.
I'll
on that?
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Let me get you some papers. Notice of hearing with the plan itself attached. Mr. Chairman, the Commission will now open a hearing on an allegation of misconduct discharged by Kenneth E. Lavalley, the Superintendent of Police. against the licensee known as CB Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Major's Pub, Corey Belanger, manager, all alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 197 Market Street. This pertains to Chapter 138, Section 34 of the Mass General Law, with respect to sale, delivery of alcohol beverage to a person under 21 years of age. And superintendent has cited the licensee for having served 2 individuals not of legal age.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Mr. Belanger, would you like the complaint read into the record? Would you waive the reading?
I'm not sure what could happen either way.
Do you want the entire complaint read in?
No,
or-
no, I'm fully aware what happened, Commissioner, thank you.
Captain Webb, if you could just summarize what happened.
Mr. Chairman, on Thursday, September 20th of this year, detectives assigned to the Special Investigation Section were conducting compliance checks in various bars in the city. They were being assisted in these compliance checks by 2 20-year-old males. The males had no money with them nor any identification other than that which had been provided to them by the detectives. At approximately, 6:51 p.m., the 2 young men entered Major's Pub at 197 Market Street. They returned to speak to Lieutenant Goldner and Detective Callahan a few minutes later and told them that they had been served 2 Heineken beers by a female bartender. The lieutenant and the detective entered the pub and identified the bartender as Audra Woods. Detective Callahan is here this evening if you'd like to hear from him.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Mr. Belanger?
Well, yes, Mr. Chairman. For starters, this shouldn't happen. It is, recently we relocated to a larger venue, and we had just opened the kitchen the week prior to that, and we're going through a transitional stage with new staffing and new cooks, and perhaps we let our guard down a tad bit now. Audra Woods is here this evening. She's an outstanding, responsible bartender who, frankly, we didn't do our job that night. There's no excuse. It just comes down to me, and I take full responsibility for this act. But I just want to make it fully clear to this commission that over the weekend, we had a tip certification consultant come to the pub. Those who were certified had to get recertified on safety ID checks and alcohol awareness. So I want this commission to be fully aware that we've taken steps so that this does not happen again.
How long have you owned Major's Pub?
12 years.
12 years. And you've only been on Market Street for how long?
Since July 1st.
How many violations?
This is the first complaint, Mr. Chairman.
In 12 years?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's why, at least that's what the ABC says, they use these to keep people on their toes. And obviously, I think you're aware of the situations we've had downtown with, some disturbances and such. But Majors has never been an issue, and I think with your new location, you're a little more in the spotlight. So you just got to, and I think by taking those measures to have everyone retrained, et cetera.
We've also increased signage at the doors and stuff like that. So the staff is fully aware. And to add to it, again, Mr. Chairman, I'm not making excuses that this should not have happened, but Audra works at another establishment in downtown Lowell where it's more of a college venue, if I may, and she's used to everybody coming through that door already have been ID'd. So it might be a little force of habit on her. That's the first thing that came out of her mouth that evening. Yeah. But still, again, it should not have happened, and we've taken steps to correct it so that it does not happen again.
Any questions?
Mr. Belanger didn't raise this issue, but do we have a photograph of the
Yes.
2 people that were used? Thank you.
Could I ask the legal age of the 2 individuals? Is that within my rights, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Well, they were under the age of
They were both 20 years old.
20 years old. Okay. And they signed the guidelines that they understood what their role was in facilitating these compliance checks?
Yes, they did.
Do you have any of the physical descriptions of these people, their weight, height?
Perhaps Detective Callahan could give
Let me, look,
Detective, you can come to the... You can come to the microphone.
Do you have, Detective, anything regarding the weight and height on the description of these two individuals?
I think if there's a copy of their ID there, it might have their height on it, but as far as weight, I wouldn't have that.
Okay. My concern is the last time that we had a meeting and we were going over this, the subject that you used was the man looked like a wrestler, and not that they shouldn't be carding a wrestler, but it just seems to me that these people would, some of them, this particular individual here looks to be in his late 20s, and it comes to a certain point where, you know, is it reasonable for her to ask me with gray hair or somebody with receding hairline for an ID? I have grave concerns with the people that are being used in these investigations.
The police department doesn't go out and solicit these people. We receive them.
Understood. Understood. I just wanted to make the comment that, you know, this is the second time I've seen somebody who looks, you know, borderline in their late 20s, and I just, it causes me great concern to know that these are the types of things that we're doing to people who are trying to run a business and trying to serve an awful lot of people, and you know, I just want to make sure we're not looking to trip them up by baiting them with people who, you know, are borderline subjects for underage drinkers.
Again, they're supplied to us. We don't.
Understood.
Who supplies them to you? Is it the ABCC?
I think it's Lowell Community Health.
Is it Lowell Community Health?
I believe that's what it is.
Do you know anything about how they make their selection of subjects?
I don't.
Okay.
Questions? My recommendation was that we just put this matter on file. I'll make a motion that we put it on file, given the history of Mr. Belanger in the city of Lowell.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Thank you.
Is he here, Ryan? Are they here, reservations? Okay. All right.
Commission now open a hearing on the allegation of misconduct as charged by Kenneth E. LaValle, Superintendent of Police, against the licensee known as Camilla LLC, a limited liability company, doing business as Reservations. Dolores Cruz is the manager, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 179 Central Street. Regarding Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, in which sale or delivery of alcohol beverages to a person under 21 years of age, the charge is that there were two individuals not of legal drinking age served.
Introduce yourself for the record.
George Torres, assistant manager.
Okay. Where's Miss Cruz?
She missed her flight. She delayed her flight today.
What's the mailing address of Reservations?
179 Central Street.
Is that where we sent notice of the hearing?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for the sake of notifying the licensee of the allegations, the hearing that was scheduled for this evening, 2 letters, identical letters were sent to the licensee at their business address at 179 Central Street, Lowell, Mass. 01852 in zip code. One is by certified mail return receipt request, and the second is by first-class U.S. Postal Service. It just so happened that both those letters were returned to the office, License Commission office, or the law office where I work out of. And they were both undeliverable. In fact, I have those letters here. Somewhat anxious to convey to the licensee the fact that there was a hearing scheduled for this evening, November 8th, on the matter of this complaint. Captain Webb was kind enough to arrange to have a detective from the police department hand carry the notice of hearing, and such notice was served and signed for by Mr. Torres here. The officer is Detective Coughlin, who had made the service of notice.
Why can't you get mail at the address?
Mail at reservations?
Yeah,
Why can't we receive mail?
yes.
I don't know, that's a good question. We don't have a mail slot. You know, whatever people that do throw mail in, they put it in between the door, and sometimes we grab it. The time that the business was running, while we got received the letter that I signed.
Where does Miss Cruz reside?
In Lowell, 142 Methuen Street.
Okay. When was the last time she was in Lowell?
She was in Lowell Monday.
Okay. How many hours a week does she spend at the reservations?
She spends approximately around like 15 hours,
Okay. And what are your current operating hours?
4 days a week,
What, 4 days?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And what are the hours during that time?
We're looking around 5 o'clock to 2.
Well, this is, before we get into the allegation, I guess my concern is there's got to be someone that's in control of this place. And if the License Commission sends out 2 notices to the license holder, and neither one of them gets delivered, right, that's concerning to me. So that's got to be rectified immediately. We need to be able to get a hold of Ms. Cruz. Okay? And the fact that she, to my understanding, has not contacted the License Commission office, is that correct?
That's correct, Matt.
I mean, there's a serious allegation here against her, and she's the manager of this location, and she's nowhere to be found. She hasn't she didn't ask for a continuance. She didn't do anything. So it strikes me as that she's not taking this very serious, and she's not taking her role as the manager of reservations very serious. And I don't mean to shoot the messenger, but you're the individual standing in front of me, and you're representing this establishment. So that's my concern as to who's in control. I don't know if anyone else has any comments relative to that issue. But.
I share your concern, Mr. Chairman, but I have a question regarding this mail. It appears like there should have been 2 attempts at delivery, and we don't even have the first attempt at delivery listed on the stamp by the Postal Service. Are we sure that they even attempted delivery of this certified mail? It says that it's returned as undeliverable as addressed. Do you not receive, there's no mail slot at the?
There's no mail slot. The only mail that sorry.
I'm sorry, the hours that you have personnel on site begin when?
Wednesday through Saturday, and they're actually, the hours are on the window plated.
Secretary Wynn, how long has Reservations had a license, to your knowledge?
It's been at least 2 years since they've been licensed at that location.
And we've never had an issue with having mail returned for them before, have we?
Not to the degree that I've experienced just now with that. Most of the mail, and for the fact that there had been no complaint against the licensee, any mail that would have been sent would have been just first-class postal service, such as notice for renewal or that nature. I had also attempted to contact Ms. Cruz by the only telephone number I have available for her, and I was told in no uncertain terms that I had a wrong number, and the number that Ms. Cruz herself had given me to call her as needed would be her cell phone. So I'm not so sure what to make of that.
Before we address the underlying matter of the complaint, I'd just like to make a motion that Ms. Cruz appear at the next scheduled meeting of the License Commission to address her address and telephone number and ways that the License Commission, the license holder that, the one who oversees her license, that we're able to get in touch with her when need be. So I'll make that motion.
Second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to the underlying matter. Would you like the complaint read into the record?
No, I know what happened.
Okay. Captain Webb, if you could summarize.
Mr. Chairman, again on Thursday, September 20th of this year, special investigation detectives were conducting compliance checks at various bars in the city. They were being assisted in the compliance checks by two 20-year-old males who had no money or identification with them other than money that had been provided to them by the special investigation section detectives. At approximately 7:21 p.m., the two males entered reservations at 179 Central Street, was served two Heineken beers by the female bartender, Cassandra Nem. The two young men left the bar and informed Lieutenant Goldner and Detective Callahan of what had happened. And Detective Callahan is here if you'd like to hear from him.
Is it Mr. Torres? What do you have to say?
Well, I have my bartender here, Cassie, that got served. The same two gentlemen that went to Major's Pub, went to my place, which I think the bartenders ended up coming to our place and ended up letting us know what happened. But happened to be that by the time I found out, we already got hit with the two Heinekens.
Okay. So did she ask for ID?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Are your bartenders tip certified?
Yes, I've been a bartender for 5 years.
What's the average age of your clientele?
Well, our clientele's it's a wide. Like during 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we have people from the law offices coming down, eating appetizers, and then towards the end of the night, we have like a big rush that comes from 11:30, and that finishes off the business.
Okay. Do you typically have bouncers working the door, or do you just people come in and they show their ID when they order drinks?
We do have bouncers. The thing is that they came around like approximately 9 o'clock. We normally prepare our night at 10 o'clock for business. So we practically had all the bartenders setting up, waiting for everyone to show up to work.
Okay. All right, so this happened at about 7:20 that evening, this complaint.
What was that?
This complaint happened at about 7:20.
Okay, I think on the paper it says 9 something.
It's 1921, right? That's
7:21.
7:21, okay. All right, well, have they had any issues before?
No.
Captain Webb, any issues with reservations?
We have had a couple of minor issues on October 14th of this year and April 28th of this year. The establishment was noticed by patrol officers that they were still open a few minutes after 2. Those matters were handled with a warning to close at 2 o'clock, and were not brought forward to the License Commission because they were handled with the officer's discretion of just notifying them that they were open a couple of minutes too late.
Listen, if you're staying open late, okay, that's not a good thing, all right? So just make sure you get control of this place, okay? You haven't had any violations in the past, which is a good thing, and that helps you out. And I appreciate you coming and representing Ms. Cruz tonight, okay? But, you know, I know you guys get a good crowd, so you gotta be vigilant as to who's coming in and coming out with the IDs, okay? And make sure that, you know, no one's under 21 that's in there drinking, okay? I'd make a motion to put it on file.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
If I may just interject one item in this matter because of Mr. Torres being present in the fact that this month of November, the calendar year, all of the liquor licensees in Massachusetts have to file a renewal application in the month of November, not the month of December, in the month of November. And the office notifies all the licensees of that matter that they have to file their renewal during the month of November. In the next day or two, I'm going to be sending to the licensee, Camilla LLC, at 179 Central Street, the renewal application in the mail. And only your mother, Mr. Torres, Dolores, can sign the renewal application. And if she doesn't file it during the month of November with the office, then technically, state law requires that such a matter, a licensee would have to file an application for a new license after that. So this applies not only to Reservations Restaurant, but applies to all the licensees in Lowell.
We just need to be able to get in touch with you, and, you know, renewing your license is an important thing. And if these last two mailings didn't get to you, this mailing relative to your renewal of the license probably isn't gonna get to you. So we gotta get this straightened out, okay?
Okay.
And perhaps you want to consult with your mother on renting a P.O. box or something so that your mail is being delivered, because obviously your mail carrier is not finding a way to get it to you.
Yeah. I just think that if I make that box, I think it'll be a lot easier for everybody.
Okay. All right, well, do what you need to do. But it's just gotta be something that's gotta be done, okay?
All right.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Because I think that the way that I read that is that it's undeliverable, but they don't have an address at 179, so that didn't even attach. It's undeliverable as addressed, it says. Like it doesn't even get in the bag to go out. You would think it was. Yeah, it's right, yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Commission will now open the hearing on the allegation of misconduct as charged by Kenneth E. LaValle, the Superintendent of Police, against Lowell Sports Club, Manuel A. Silva, manager, the all-alcoholic beverages club licensee at 490 Central Street. This is regards to Chapter 138, Section 34, pertaining to sale or delivery of alcohol beverages to a person under 21 years of age, and the licensee is being cited on 2 counts.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Attorney John Mello for Lowell Sports Club, Inc., doing business as the American Sports Club as listed in the police report. I'm here with the president of Lowell Sports Club, Inc., and manager of the license, Manuel A. Silva.
Would you like the complaint read into the record?
No.
Okay. If you could summarize, Captain Webb.
Mr. Chairman, there's another compliance check from September 20th. Once again, special investigation detectives are being assisted by 2 20-year-old males in conducting these compliance checks. These males had no money or identification with them other than the money that had been provided to them by the special investigation section detectives. At approximately 7:34 p.m., the 2 young men entered the Lowell Sports Club at 490 Central Street, were served 2 Heineken beers by the female bartender, Laura Pereira. Lieutenant Goldner entered the establishment afterwards and informed Ms. Pereira of the violation. Detective Callahan is here this evening if you'd like to hear from him.
I guess my first question is, the Lowell Sports Club, Inc., It's a nonprofit organization, right?
Yes,
And they have a club license?
they do.
How is two random guys walking in off the street into the club?
I don't know. The bartender at the time of the incident wasn't doing her job, and the manager of the license wasn't doing his job.
I guess my concern is that this is, there's different standards between a club and a restaurant, which most of the bars in the city, that's the type of license they have. There's supposed to be some sort of check-in system when you go into the club, correct?
Correct.
All right. What is the check-in system at Lowell Sports Club?
Mr. Silva can address that check-in system.
We have a key card that opens the door, and there's also a buzzer there. And what they do is, if they don't have their key card, they ring the buzzer. And she must have let them in.
But I'm just trying, this can happen, I know things like this happen, but how many members are there of this club?
We have paying members, not many, but we have like a little over 200.
Okay. And how long has the bartender been working there?
She started there a little after I opened up. Probably almost 2 years, 2.5 years.
I mean, she buzzes two random guys in, lets them sit at the bar and serves them. I mean, that's not what a club is. And I think that's my concern. That's my first concern. My second concern is that they're under the age of 21 and they're being served. But the initial concern is that how are they even getting in to the establishment? That's the difference between a club and a restaurant. So, that's gonna be tightened up.
Yeah, definitely has to be tightened up. Maybe I should just get rid of the buzzer, and that way they can't buzz themselves, they have the bartender.
Well, let's just cut to the chase. How many non-members do you have on like a Friday night that just show up? Like if I just walked and rang the buzzer, could I walk in?
They would probably let you in.
Yeah, I mean, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not what's supposed to happen.
Right.
That's gotta change, number one. This is a club and you're held, I know I said this before when you came in, but when you came in, this was supposed to be raising money for nonprofit youth organizations to play sports, soccer, etc. But from what it seems like happened here is that it's just a bar room. So, what is it? Tell me.
We gotta tighten it up. That's what we have to do. We do have a door person on the weekends, to check IDs and check membership. And whoever's not a member usually signs the book in with a member.
So if you're a non-member, you have to be associated with a member of the club?
Correct. And Mr. Silver had a staff meeting upon receiving notice of this violation regarding guests being in the presence of members, or, trying to avoid having guests show up and waiting for the members to show up. Because I think that was a big problem at the establishment. Guests would show up and they would say, I'm here with a member who's going to be arriving in 10 minutes. So he put an end to that. As far as Ms. Pereira, who was on duty that day, Mr. Silva is requiring her to be recertified this calendar year, TIPS recertified. She is a certified bartender, but, Mr. Silva has been in the bar business for almost 30 years, and he wasn't happy about this. Lowell Sports Club has been around for about 4 years. This is their first, they shouldn't have any problems, but this is their first problem. But Mr. Silva has been on this with the staff. The bartender was suspended without pay for a little bit, 2 weeks. And he's requiring her to be recertified.
Any questions?
How do you expect to address the issue of the access control if it's just the bartender there and she's also responsible for monitoring the door when someone doesn't have a key pass? How do you anticipate doing that in the future?
Well, we're trying to have a door person there all the time.
Okay.
But it is hard, especially if we're not doing the business, to pay somebody. So we're trying to get somebody to volunteer to do it.
Okay.
What Mr. Silver has done is he's reached out to the active members and said, hey, listen, this is a club, this is membership, if anybody can, even if somebody, when there are members there, actually patronizing the establishment, he's called for their cooperation in making sure that individuals that they don't recognize as members get identified and checked out.
Can you see the front, the door that everybody enters through from the bar?
Yes. It's right from here where you are.
It's a glass door?
There is a glass about that big.
So you can see the
We
faces
used to have a
of the
full
individual-
glass, but in the middle of the night after we closed, they broke in a couple times, breaking the front glass, stealing the TVs. Then we eliminate the glass door. Now we just have a strip with a metal door.
At about face height?
About that high, yeah.
So you can see the faces of the people at the door?
Yeah, but it's kind of hard. From where I am to you, it's dark in the club.
What needs to happen is, if someone's at the door and they buzz in, your view of the person is limited. As soon as you let them in, that's when they need to be addressed, especially after daylight hours.
Okay, this was at approximately 8 o'clock at night?
I believe so.
Are there age limits to the membership?
You have to be 21.
Okay, all right.
Unless you, upstairs, we have a function hall.
Function. All right, well, these compliance checks are meant to be teaching lessons, but I know your experience, Mr. Silver, in this business, so you haven't had any issues relative to service of minors in the past at that location. So I'd be inclined to give you a break on this one, but I want you to tighten up the door, all right? That's a big concern, because if there's individuals that know that they can just walk in, I know a non-member's money is just as good as a member's money, and when times are tough, you need the money. I understand that. But if it gets a reputation as a place where you can go and drink underage, that's when you have the issues. And I know the police department is gonna be checking to make sure that, the logbook is maintained and that any non-member is in there with a member. So I make a motion to put on file.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you.
Commission now open a hearing on the allegation of misconduct as charged by Kenneth E. LaValle, the Superintendent of Police, against the licensee known as 280 Central, Inc., doing business as Ward 8, Aaron Yates, manager, all alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 276 280 Central Street, regarding Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, in which 2 counts for sale and delivery of alcohol beverages to a person under 21 years of age have been charged against the licensee.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Paul Yates, and I want to apologize. My wife is home with my son. He's really sick. She apologized to the board for not being here.
Would you like the complaint read into the record?
No, thank you.
If you could again summarize.
Mr. Chairman, this is the last compliance check you'll hear about tonight from September 20th. Once again, detectives assigned to the Special Investigations Section were conducting compliance checks at various bars in the city. They were being assisted by 2 20-year-old males in the compliance checks. At approximately 7:52 p.m., the two young men entered Ward 8 at 280 Central Street, and they were served 2 beers by a male bartender, Richard Healy, and also given free samples of Sam Adams beer. The young men left the bar and informed Lieutenant Goldner and Detective Callahan of what had transpired inside the bar, and Lieutenant Goldner went inside and spoke to Mr. Healy. Detective Callahan is with us tonight if you'd like to hear from him.
What do you have to say, Mr. Yates?
This shouldn't happen. We've had several staff meetings. Everyone is tip certified. We spoke directly to the whole staff, and the first thing you have to do is ask people for their identification. We have to maintain, this is a college town, we have to maintain a standard. We're new to the city. I do apologize for this incident. We were completely wrong. Richard Healy is a great bartender, and he's been helping me manage, as well as my wife, and he just got caught off guard. I regret the incident, and it will not happen again.
I mean, that's, how long have you guys been open?
Since April.
You know, especially given your location in close proximity to the Inn and Conference Center, you know, I know you guys gotta be vigilant, and I know probably at this, maybe in September, the patio is still open, but, you know, you have people that walk up there too, and sit there. So you guys are really.
Yeah, we do have doormen come on at 9 o'clock. Yeah. This is pre-doorman, so we did speak to the staff about making sure before there's a doorman on, you have to make sure that everyone is carded.
Well, I know you guys run a good place, and as you saw Mr. Belanger that was here earlier, he had been 14 years without anything. So that's, hopefully, I probably won't be here in 14 years, but hopefully you won't have to come back for at least that long. But just make sure, especially with the proximity of the Inn and Conference Center, that you're asking everybody for IDs, because if any of the students, high school, college, realize that they can have a beer when they grab their burger without being carded, that's going to become an issue.
Yes.
Make a motion to put it on file.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
These are supposed to be teaching tools, so.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. With respect to the number 14 on our, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I agree with you. Captain Webb, just relative to the last couple of compliance checks, if you could just find out to us how the Lowell Community Health Center picks up these or determines these individuals are going to be used in compliance checks, if you could just give us a summary of how that happens at the next meeting, that'd be, or unless you know now.
I don't know now, but I'll find out for
Okay,
you.
thanks.
With respect to our last meeting on October the 18th, there was an application filed by the LLC known as Number 2 China Star LLC, and its applicant for an all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license and a license for common vittler and a license for entertainment in a licensed restaurant for the premises at 1733 Middlesex Street. And at that time, the application was found to be incomplete. Subsequent to the meeting on the October 18th, attorney representing the applicant, number 2 China Star LLC, Attorney James Flood, filed additional documentation this past week with respect to financial arrangements and several affidavits pertaining to principles that are noted in the original, the application that the commission had an opportunity to look at our last meeting. It would appear to me that basic requirements for filing an application as recommended by the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission have been met. And so I would suggest to the board, you may want to schedule a public hearing on this application.
If we schedule it for the 29th, is that given enough notice?
Yes, what this will be would be, I would anticipate a legal notice being published a week from tomorrow in the Lowell Sun newspaper. I believe that's Friday, November the 16th, for the hearing to be held on November the 29th. And this application does require that the applicant notify abutters, property owners touching, and if there is a church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius, notice also would be served on that organization or facility. So,
I'll schedule that for the 29th.
Excuse me, did you say, Mr. Nguyen, that the butters only and the churches and schools within the 500?
I have not looked into the matter of a church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius, but by state law, an application for an original license, for a new license, if there is such a church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius of the numbered address, in this instance, we have 1733 Middlesex Street, the applicant is required to notify the organization, governing body of this application that's scheduled for public hearing and the notification is that which is published in the Lowell Sun, and it's being sent by the applicant or by the attorney representing the applicant in 3 days at the date of its publication, in anticipation of the publication being Friday, November the 16th. We can be mailed out by that following Monday by certified mail return receipt request, and an affidavit is filed by the applicant testing to having done the notification in accordance with state chapter 138.
But now, I'm just not familiar where number 2 China Star is on Middlesex Street. Is that on, that's on outer Middlesex Street, out towards Wood Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up towards the new Walgreens, right there.
It had been a license, there had been a licensee at that location, recently known as
Super Bowl
Restaurant.
All right.
The licensed operator, the business at that time last year did not file a timely renewal, and the landlord apparently opted not to see that the licensee at that time retained the use of the premises, and so this new application is pertaining to that same.
Thank you. It was just the location that I was driving at, so thank you.
And there was a communication from the superintendent of police, Kenneth LaValle, which is dated October the 16th, and it's regarding an allegation of misconduct against the licensee known as Nublis Inc., doing business as Garcia Brogan's, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee, premises at 131 Middlesex Street, unit number 5.
Schedule that for hearing on the 29th also.
And there's a communication from the superintendent of police as a follow-up to the matter that was discussed earlier this evening regarding the licensee Camilla LLC. And it pertains to the absence of Dolores Cruz, who is the manager of the record.
I guess I was premature in my motion to have her appear at the next meeting, but I think we addressed that.
So she would be, I'll send a notice.
Send a notice that she appear.
For November 29th. And I just, and then the last item would be that which was already discussed, also pertaining to the mailings regarding the notice of hearing to the licensing Camilla LLC. And I have nothing further to add on that, so it's, that, unless there are questions, Commissioner.
All right. No, that's it. I guess before we adjourn, I'd like to thank Mr. Tague for his brief but meritorious service to the City of Lowell License Commission, and not only to the License Commission, but to the Election Commission and a lot of other entities throughout the city. And I think the City of Lowell, and especially the City of Lowell Republican Party, will be sad to see you go to Vermont, but you're always welcome here on Thursday nights at 6:30.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I hope you are here in 14 years.
Don't forget, he can see our meetings on LTC.
Yeah, you can watch them online if you got nothing to do. So with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.